are celebrating non-scale victories today because I have been showing up consistently. This is day 51 of showing up for me and working out consistently. I am Dory with Cauldron of Crafty Creations on YouTube, and I am also live on Facebook. And so I saw my pain doctor this morning, and I knew I hadn't seen her since before my mom died. I didn't realize it had been all the way back to September since I had been in for trigger point injections. And so I get lidocaine trigger point injections in my back due to chronic back pain from numerous whiplash injuries. And I have to wait at least 6 weeks between visits. And my last one was right about 6 weeks between them. And we went from September, October, December, January, February, March. So almost 6 whole months. So woohoo! Super exciting to be back to not needing to get those as often. And, I've been having some pain in my back, which is why I called and got the appointment to go in. And I called and left a message yesterday, and she had an opening this morning, which is like unheard of. Normally it takes a while to get in to see her. So it was good to see her and tell her about my YouTube channel and get to talk about my mom. She treated my mom for a while, and then when she was on maternity leave, my mom started seeing a different doctor in their practice and stayed with that other doctor. But, so they knew me, they knew my mom. And so I got to have a little talk with her about that and brought her a copy of the program, one for her and one for my mom's doctor, from my mom's celebration of life, so they could read the obituary and stuff that I had written, and gave them some of my St. Patrick's Day bookmarks that I've been making. And so it was a good visit, and got to celebrate that it's been 6 whole months since I've been in for an appointment, and that she loved that I'm doing daily exercise, ball bouncing exercise workout. She's like, that's perfect for you. So, that was good. And, yeah, so, oh goodness. I slept really well last night, but I did get up super early again and was wide awake and ready to roll. So I'm definitely going to bed earlier. I was in bed shortly after 9 last night and probably fell asleep in 15 minutes or less, which is a record for me. But today is a super, super busy day. And so I wanted to get on here and bounce, get the blood pumping, and get that extra oxygen to my brain, because I am feeling a little sleepy and I've got a lot of stuff still to do today. And had a tutoring session with a new student, and it was awesome. And so that was really good. And his sister is a friend of mine and a fellow healer, and she had told me that when she told him about me, that she said I was full of soul magic. And I was like, I love that. I'm going to write that down. And then there was a call that's a monthly call for projectors, and which is my human design type. And so she had sent me a private message, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad you did, because I've missed the last couple, and I had been to one several months ago. And so I got to connect with 2 other ladies who are also projectors and entrepreneurs. And after I kind of introduced myself and what I did, she's like, magical mentor. That's so cool. That's what stood out to me and what you said. Because I said I was a high priestess of the light, a magical mentor, an author, an educator, and an artist. And so it's always good to connect with other people who have similar human design and human, and understand that, like, oh, this is why I function so much differently than other people. And we talked about our lines, which I'm a 3-5. And so the woman leading the call is a 2-5. And so she had the 5 in common with me and a 2 in common with the other person. And so talked about our lines and what they mean. And the 3 line is, we try everything the hard way. And so we like literally learn by experiencing and failing our way through to figure out what it is that we actually want to do. And that each of those so-called mistakes or failures is a crucial step in our evolution of learning to be who we are. And that's just been so true for me. And once I kind of started learning about human design and being a projector and being a 3-5, like I was like, oh, that's why so many people in my family are like, why are you a failure? Why do you get fired from jobs? Why do you? It's like, and so I was always down on myself, but now it's like, no, that's what I came here to do. And so I'm able to help other people avoid those mistakes because I've been there, took the cruise, bought the t-shirt, and, so I can help other people navigate and avoid those same pitfalls that I've been through. And then my 5 line, people will project onto me instead of seeing me as I am and who I am. They see, when they step into my aura, they see who they want to be. And so they'll project that onto me. And so then they think that I can fix everything for them. And then when it turns out that I'm human and I can help them with these certain things, but maybe not necessarily fix everything, then a lot of times people will turn on me and they're like, 1 minute things are great. And then the next minute they're like, me, and I'm like, what just happened? So learning those things about myself, it's like, oh, okay. All right. So that's why these things have happened this way. And I have these patterns in my life. And, that was the intention and the great design when I chose this lifetime and chose what I was going to go through and who I was going to become. Chose all of those things to help me become who I am so that I could help with the healing and awakening of Mama Gaia and those who live upon and draw nourishment from her. So, so it's funny because this other healer, she had invited me to speak at a healing summit last summer. And I was literally at the point where I had said, maybe I'm not ready to do my healing stuff yet. Like, I keep getting invitations, which as projectors, like our strategy is to wait for the invitation. So it's to be recognized and invited and then to choose which invitations are right for us. And I was like, I keep getting invited into helping people with marketing stuff, and I'm not getting invited into healing. And I feel like I just keep trying to push and it's just the door's not opening. And so I'm not ready. And the mentor I was working at that time said, no, I think you are ready. I think you are. I think it is time. And then literally within days of that conversation, Taylor reached out and she's like, hey, I'd love to have you speak at this healing summit that I'm doing. And I'm like, there's my healing invitation. And so it was a womb wounds healing summit, and it was incredible. And the people that she lined up to do it were just so great. And I've made some really strong connections with the ladies both those who attended and those who presented. And I was talking about the person who had told her story before mine, talked about, wanting to be a mother and not getting that in this lifetime. And I was like, oh, well, I was planning on talking about this, but now I'm going to talk about that. And, I used to have this desperate longing to be a mom. And I thought that, more than anything in this world, I wanted to be a mom. And, but there were conditions on it. Like I wanted to be a mom and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I didn't want to have to go to work and send my kids to daycare because I wanted to raise them my way. And, that didn't happen and that didn't happen. And I, just like kept having bad relationship after bad relationship. And somebody was like, I think that, the guys that you're dating are just not good enough for you, to put it bluntly. And, I thought that I might have found the one, and then he just wasn't ready to step up. And now, of course, I see why, because we weren't meant to be together long term. But, I finally realized where that desperate longing to be a mom came from, and was able to then heal it and move past it. And now I see the divine plan and why I have not had my own children in this lifetime, for a variety of different reasons. But Taylor said to me after I was talking about that, she goes, "You didn't come here to mother your own children because you came here to mother the world." And I was like, whoa, that's a powerful statement. And that rings true. Like, I have this mothering energy that's bigger than pouring into my own children. And pouring into your own children is absolutely wonderful. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing to do. But that's not what I came here to do in this lifetime. And so just being able to see that and recognize that, and pour that love into the world and everyone around me, instead of just, children of my own. But back to, I said I was going to celebrate my non-scale victories today. So one of them was that I've gotten to go so long between trigger point injections. And a huge part of that has been these workouts that are helping my back to do so well. And bouncing on the ball and stretching on the ball have helped a lot. Also, I'm able to bounce harder and longer before I start getting out of breath. And it used to be like I walk out to my car and I'm like, out of breath and totally worn out and exhausted. And, or I walk from my car into the doctor's appointment, and holy moly, this doctor, you walk in a ways and then you stand in the elevator and wait to get up. And then you walk another ways and then up to stand and wait to check in. And my back started hurting a little bit when I was standing waiting to check in, but I wasn't all out of breath and exhausted like I would have been a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 12 months ago, and so it's really, really great to be able to see and celebrate those. And also, so I had leaned my seat back when I had gained a bunch of weight after my mom died. I was binging sugar and junk food. And I tried to lean it forward when I was in the seat the other day, which I know is not the way to do it. And so I accidentally leaned it back even further. And so I remembered when I got to the car, when I got to the car after seeing the doctor, to sit it up again. And, it felt good to be able to sit up in my car instead of being leaned back where I can barely reach, the steering wheel and stuff. But so I'm sitting up, and I have the seatbelt buckled, and I can reach the steering wheel. And so just, these different, getting warm now. These different victories that I'm able to celebrate and do better. Okay, it's not quite warm enough to be without that, so now I got to bounce a little harder to warm up. But being able to celebrate these victories and celebrating each small accomplishment, because each small accomplishment builds and builds and builds, and builds up to a greater accomplishment. Last week when I saw the doctor, I gained a couple of pounds since the previous appointment the week before. And at first I was a little bit upset. And then I was like, yeah, but Dory, you're working out a lot and you're eating well. So most likely you're gaining some muscle, because, I'm definitely my body is still getting smaller. I need to find somebody. So if you're in Missoula and you're willing to help me measure and get my inches, I just thought of somebody I can ask. I had reached out to one friend and she's like, I'm sorry, I just don't have time. But I've got actually now 2 names have just popped up for me to ask. So, because I want to know inches of where, so anyway, time to get someone to help me measure and do that. Oh, but not today. Oh, goodness gracious. I have a call at 2. Then I have a student at 4:15. And then I have a call at 5. No, a call at 6. And then a student at 7. And then another student at 8:15. So busy day, busy day. And I just remembered I need to call. I need to go so I can make a phone call before I get on my 2:00 call. So celebrating victories today, celebrating showing up consistently and getting results. And celebrating those small victories that add up as I continue showing up and showing up and showing up. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you do something today that sets your soul on fire and brings you joy, that you follow your bliss. Choose peace, choose love, choose kindness. Take care. I'll see you next time.